Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. Now, today, because it's basically July, no, it is July, we're going to be doing a top 10 best characters list here on Lord of the Rings. Now, part of the reason is because we're like basically 2 months into the game now, I think, and, you know, I've had a pretty good idea now of a lot of the best characters in the game, a lot of the ones that you should be focusing on. It's not going to be an exhaustive list because obviously there's only so much resources in the game as far as being able to build up other characters. I have some previous experience in the beta with some of these characters, the ones that I haven't touched right now, so I have a pretty good idea of, you know, who's worth it, and especially those who are available early on in the game to focus on for those newer players. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. And coming in at number 10 is going to be Ubete. Now, and just for the record, there's probably going to be more, the majority of it is going to be light side characters. I feel we're in the light meta right now, but hopefully coming soon, we will be getting more shadow characters released, more updates to shadow characters. So there's a handful of them on this list, though, that are worth upgrading. You know, I don't want to go for teams as such, because honestly, I have like maybe like 10 to 15 characters semi-leveled up, right? Like there's just not a lot of resources in the game. So I don't want to kind of make people think like you need to level up too many of them. But Ubete is one of the characters that I built up quite early on, actually. So he is a Haradrim tank character, shadow character as well, human character as well. And he has a pretty solid kit. And most notably, I'm not going to go through everything, but most notably it's this. Now, I have my gripes with this because it's called horizontal slash, and the animation is him basically chucking a fire grenade. And I believe in the beta, this was an actual attack. I believe it was a different attack. And so I have my gripes with the name of it. I really hope that they maybe change it at a later point. It makes zero sense. Anyways, once you get into about level 3, it always has a chance to inflict slow. So obviously you have to kind of, you have to surpass the focus versus resistance check. But even from level 1, it has a 50% chance to do AoE slow. And slow is a really, really important debuff. It's actually a very solid one that doesn't actually happen on a lot of characters. So the fact that he has that and it's available on turn 1 is very powerful. He is available in the guild store. Because I'm pretty sure it's in the guild store, right? You can get him pretty easily. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I would have to click the promotion button in order to actually find him. This is the arena. Yeah, almost. Yeah, he's in the guild store right here. So he's very easy to farm, especially once you get the guild mode unlocked and the guild nodes unlocked. Very easy. Honestly, I'm kind of like on my way to get him a 5-star just in case. He is a Haradrim based character anyways, and so there is some rumors that Haradrim might be the next set of characters that are going to be coming out. And so if that's the case, then even more of a reason to build up Ubete. So really good character there at number 10. Number 9 is going to be Pippin. Now, I don't have him. This is pretty far for most people in order to have him, but he's basically the only light healer that you're going to have in the beginning of the game. You don't actually start with him or even get him right away. However, he is very easily accessible, but he's basically your only healer unless you cash out and spend for Halberd, who we will talk about later down, who's further up the list for this one, but it's a special here, Old Maggot's Mushroom, that has the healing mechanic, and by level 3 it actually heals everyone, which is very good. So he's basically kind of the best you have, and I kind of used him for a very long time as well. You know, I tried to min-max how much I wanted to put investment into him in order to get further in the campaigns, but because I didn't spend on Halberd, this is basically all that I had. So you can find him available in Guild Chapter 1.5. It's very early on, and I recommend this for new players especially to get him unlocked. It's not very hard. Just kind of maybe do a couple of refreshes on this node, and well, you can infinitely farm it, but get the energy for it to farm the node, and you should be able to get him unlocked pretty quickly. Actually, I should have even took him to 3-star. I don't even know why I didn't even do that, but I guess I got a little bit lazy. Some of these Guild Chapter 1 characters are very easy to unlock. So Pippin there, coming in at number 9. Now, coming in at number 8 is going to be none other than the starting character, basically, Strider. Now, you can get him available as your daily objective character. You get 5 shards. If you're coming from Marvel Strike Force, he's basically like Wolverine, but he's a lot better. So as far as a starting character goes, he's actually very solid. A lot of people still use him even now, and he's got a really good AoE, which was different from the beta version of him called Heroic Charge. This is available on turn 1, which is a pretty solid AoE damage attack. He has a pretty high burst damage attack with his special 1 here, Burn the Shadows. It's on a cooldown of 3. So overall, he's got some really good skills. He's got the leader ability for Road to Rivendell. It's not an amazing team. It's like the starting Hobbits team plus Strider, but, you know, hey, it kind of introduces you a little bit to what leader abilities do. He has a pretty strong character for someone who has gotten right at the beginning of the game. Normally, starting characters are pretty trash, but Strider's actually pretty decent, and I think he's worth considering. He does have some Ranger synergy, but realistically, he's just like that leader for the Road to Rivendell. Unfortunately, they also got rid of the team-up attack that they had between Strider and Arwen. Don't ask why, I have no idea. Moving on to number 7, and this is where I don't like the fact that I have a couple of characters, you know, back to back, but there's just no helping in that. So number 7 for me is going to be, if I can find him on my list, Eothane. Now he is the Rohan tank for the team. You get him, I believe you get him actually as a free unlock in the beginning of the game as well, alongside Eowyn, who, yes, is going to be a little bit further up the list as well. So he's actually a pretty solid character for a few reasons. His stats are actually pretty good. A lot of people say he's squishy, but actually his armor stat is pretty good. And he's got AoE. AoE is really powerful, especially on the early part of the game, and it gives 1 stack of counterattack to basically, I'm going to say all allies, because it doesn't matter what team they're on, so they don't have, you know, it's not like just a Rohan team members or anything like that. So I do like the attack. He doesn't do taunt, but he does do provoke, and for those who are new, the difference between provoke and taunt is that taunt always sits up, provoke eventually does fall off if they get hit a certain amount of times, and he gives turn bar when he does that as well. He also put Inflicts Expose, which is a defense down to the enemy on his primary attack. So a pretty solid character there. I was using for a long time. I would still raise him up a little bit for your early meta, especially if you missed the Arwen and the Illidan event. We're going to talk about some of those characters above as well, but because Eothane is always available, that means that he's still a pretty good character to choose for the light side as well. So next, coming up at number 6 is going to be Eowyn. Now, Eowyn has the leader ability for the Rohan team, and the Rohan, at least the Rohan 3, which is going to be Eothane, Eowyn, and Aomer, was a very early game meta. Actually still is for some people. You know, a very easily obtainable, free-to-play, light-side group of characters alongside Strider and maybe like Pippin or Halberd or something like that. And so she does have that leader ability for the Rohan team. It does give additional crit chance on assists and counterattacks for the Rohan. It's nothing crazy, but, you know, without any other better option, you know, that's still what you can get. And what I do like about her kit is that she does grant might to basically up to the whole team as you get this up, and it calls the ally with the highest damage to assist. It does have a little bit of a high cooldown cost, but it does get reduced if you do take her up a little bit further. She's also one of the best light characters, really the earliest light character that can inflict disable, which if you're coming from Marvel Strike Force is ability block, and it's a very powerful debuff there. It also does cleanse 1 Bane from all allies and 2 Banes from herself. So I like the fact that you can use her basically with any group of characters, because it doesn't really matter as such who is there, although of course you won't get the leader ability stats unless they're Rohan. And then there's some stuff here on the passive. It's pretty big. She tends to stack a lot of counterattacks and defensives because of the basics. So she's not a bad character. She's a little bit squishy, but she is a very good utility character. And so she's in number 6. Coming in at number 5 is going to be, scroll back up, is going to be, where is he? Aomer. And so, yes, this is the last Rohan character. This is who I dubbed the Rohan 3. Now, Aomer is, in my opinion, a little bit better than than Eowyn for a few reasons. He does have a summon. Now, the summon is quite squishy in arena context. However, it's very nice to have in campaigns. So he summons this Rohan attacker. He's like a minion character. He is nothing special or anything, but he does do, and he adds in, you know, some bonus damage during your campaign missions, which is really nice. He does also have a really high chance to gain assistance. So you'll find that when you use Aomer, that he'll come in and smack somebody else. And the great thing about this is that it doesn't matter who you're using your characters with. So he doesn't have to be with Rohan characters in order to get this of value. By level 5, it always gains assistance on his turn, which means that if anyone else does a counter attack or a base basic move, then he will come in and hit them as well for more damage. So pretty good character. He's a little bit slow, but because of the assistance, the damage does add up. He is meant to be used a little bit with Eothane because he does do more damage with this Courageous Charge special too if Eothane's on the field. So for example, for mine, instead of doing 80% times 3, he's doing 100% times 3, so that's an extra 60% damage for that skill. So pretty good character there and worth gearing. And a lot of this is also within the context if you weren't around for whatever reason for the Elf Unlock marquee events, which we'll talk about. So coming in at number, where are we at now? 4, I believe. I think we already, Aomer was 5. This is going to be a double hitter. So the reason why is because I have one leveled and not the other. And we're going to be talking about the trolls more broadly. I am going to be focusing on Ironhide specifically, but I would put Troll Brute in this same category as well. They're basically the best large characters in the game. What's a large character? You can only have one of them in your party, so you would have to choose between Ironhide, Great Goblin, don't do it, and Troll Brute. Who we'll take a look at. So Ironhide has two major attacks here, which are both AoE. Very strong character. Like I said, AoE attacks are very strong in this game, and so he is he's probably your best shadow character to a second to best shadow character to build. We'll talk about who the best one is. He's going to be coming up as well. And so he is a very solid character, and I did actually get him I'm still bringing him up. So level 56, gear 8, maxed him out. The other one who I don't have is Growherd the Brute, aka Troll Brute. You need to basically get his 45 shards in the supply store spending gems. So he's not a free-to-play accessible character, and that's why he's a secondary, in my opinion, here. He's a very strong character still. He has the ability to give might to your entire team, and he has one AoE that gives expose, aka defense down. So he is still a very solid character, but because of his sort of paid nature, I am putting him second in this opinion to Troll Ironhide. So Troll Ironhide is, by the way, farmable in the guild campaign chapter 2. I think it's in 2, I want to say. But I also forgot to say that Aowen is also farmable in the light campaign. Eothane is also on a node, and Aomer is in the arena store. Sorry, everyone, I forgot to mention that. Normally I do that for each of my characters. Now, coming in at number 3. Where the heck is he? I should have hearted all these characters. Ugluck. And just because I have him at level 43 and I have him ranked at 3, that's because I'm really focusing on my elves right now. He is the best shadow character in the game currently. He is also very free-to-play friendly. You can get his shards in Guild Campaign 1-1, literally the first node. One of the first shadow characters that you get in the game as well. And so for that reason, it's kind of shocking how strong he is. And a lot of it comes down to his leader ability. So when an Isengard squad member inflicts a Bane, heal all squad members for 2.5%, or well, it's a little bit more depending on how high you take this up, of their max health, and it gives focus to Isengard squad members. Now, the great thing about this is it heals everyone regardless of, what trait they are. However, the only Isengard Banes actually cause the healing mechanic, but then he's got this passive here, on block, inflict weak-minded for 1 turn. And so when people hit Ugluck, there's actually a good chance, because if you add this up and you get the block chance up, there's a good chance that actually hitting into Ugluck is going to trigger that. So it'll actually heal people regardless of who they are, light or shadow actually, and it'll give them healing as well based on the leader ability there. He also has a very early blind. One of the best, he's a fast character. He is actually faster than the good majority of the characters in this game, so he can inflict a blind on an enemy, which can cause them to miss their AoEs, and that's pretty crazy, especially in the early game. And he also has Disable. So some of the debuffs that I said were really amazing on Eowyn, he's got that too. He's got a blind and he's got Disable, 2 really good debuffs, and he's super fast. Speed is really good in this game, and he has a speed of 164. It is very high. He's in the top 10, I believe, of characters, 10, 15. Goblins and hobbits are very fast, but excluding that, he's honestly within the top characters for speed. Very strong character there. Now, coming in at number 2 is going to be a character that I do not have unlocked, who I wish that I did, is Halberd. And the reason why I don't have him unlocked is because I spent all my challenge tokens on Bolg, and that was a bit of a mistake on my part. So I'm here to tell you, if you are using your challenge tokens on a character, choose Halberd. If you're not spending, you know, to buy him, then spend your challenge tokens to at least unlock Halberd. He is one of the best healers, I think, that are available outside of Elrond, because, you know, he is... Elrond's not on this list, by the way. I think that would just be a bit of a cop-out. So yeah, Elrond's not on this list, but Halberd is the best healer on this list for the light side, and, you know, or wherever you're using him. And he does have the leader ability for rangers, and so there are some decent ranger characters that are available, including Elro here in Illidan of the Elves, Strider, and of course Halberd himself. Some people have decided to level up Miri, and so there's some really good value here with Halberd, but it's going to be his rugged medicine that's going to be the best. Honestly, by the time you get to, unfortunately, you know, you have to get to level 6 for heal all allies, but you can at least get to level 3, and it will heal, I believe, himself and 3 others, so that's basically 4 members, and that's fine. And especially when you get to level 5 of the rugged medicine, it just does a crap ton of healing, which is based on his own max health, which he has some of the highest HP pools in the game. He is I believe he's the 3rd highest. I would have to go check now with some of the new characters out, but he is definitely an incredibly high HP character. He also does taunt. I don't think his tanking is the best because he has low armor, but because he does have an insane amount of HP, that makes him a very solid both hybrid healer and hybrid tank. So Halberd coming in at number 2, very solid character. Kind of wish I had him unlocked so I could invest in him a little bit, but it's a little bit too late for me now, I think. But if you haven't yet, make sure that you do. Now, coming in at number 1 is going to be an elf. And it's going to be Illidan. I'm sorry, everybody who might have thought it might be somebody else. You know, obviously, Elrond's not going to be on this list. It's going to be Illidan. Illidan is one of my favorite characters. He is just amazing ever since I got him to 5-star, but even before that, he just has such an amazing kit. So as a tank goes, he's got way more boons and things on his kit than any of the other tanks, in my opinion. So when he does his main taunt, main provoke, which is this one, the Pride of Imladris, he gains 3 stacks of provoke, 1 stack of regen for 2 turns, and deadly. And then if you upgrade it past the 5 and 6, he can spread deadly to the rest of his team. His basic, though, gives weaken, and he's very fast, which is really nice. So damage is reduced by 50%, the debuff that you get on his basic, which can really help for when you're attacking AoE-based characters. His special 2, oh my god, once you get this to level 6, it's insane. So it does give him more provoke stacks, and he does AoE attack on a cooldown of 4. And then when you get to level 6, he gains 1 stamina or 1 energy back per boon. And the boons that count for this also counts the provoke stacks. If I got 4 stacks of provokes on him, he's going to get his energy full back, and he can spam this back to back to back. If you have any other buffer characters on your team, whether it's like Aowen, whether it's Eothane, whether it's any of the elves, he's going to have a crap ton of boons. I can literally spam this back to back. It's nuts. His passive, also very strong for a tank-based character, at least for me anyways. I have a 60% chance to gain 1 stack of Nimble. You can get this up to 70%, and he gains resistance as well. Very, very solid tank, and I honestly think he is the best character in the game, excluding Elrond, in my opinion. But hey, that's the top 10 or 11 if you count Brute list for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, or some of the characters that you think should have been on this list. I'm welcome to suggestions as well. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.